Good afternoon, colleagues and viewers. My name is Kameshree Moodley, and I am from the Hope to Heal Foundation in South Africa. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Basson and her team for this awesome opportunity to present at such an event. It's great to see that professionals from across the continent gather together to fight and combat against child sexual abuse. And I would like to thank you all for the amazing presentations that you have presented thus far. And I hope that this summit is going to be a successful one and that in the next year when we meet again, we will have a report that's showing successful results. Now, today I am going to be speaking to you on online child sex trafficking. Now, at the Hope to Heal Foundation, as the case study manager, my job is to focus on human trafficking cases. So I'm well experienced and a professional in this field. I am very passionate about human trafficking and especially child sexual abuse. And I hold every case that that I'm given very close to my heart, and I'm dedicated to researching and most importantly in coming up with methods with regards to prevention. My main focus, therefore, today is prevention. How do we prevent online sex trafficking? And at the most, to try and see a decrease in this crime. Now, as we are all professionals in the field and we are all fighting and combating against child sexual abuse, we are well aware of the fact that maybe we cannot stop everything, but we can prevent and actually rescue and save some lives. And that's what I live on every day is the children that are saved through education. Now, online child sex trafficking has seen a drastic increase by 77% to date. The reason being, and the main reason, COVID 19. Researchers have found that since COVID 19, online sex trafficking has seen a drastic increase. Now, the reasons being due to the fact that children were now confined to their homes, they all started spending more time on social media platforms. Secondly, many children could not attend school, and school was then taking place online, therefore, now even exposing the younger children from the age of 7 to online trafficking. And thirdly, it is a playground for perpetrators because it is very difficult to trace online trafficking as they use devices that are not traceable. They also have the software and the knowledge in which they hack the internet as well as the minors' apps, social media apps. Now, online sex trafficking is one of those types of human trafficking where the victim does not need to be physically kidnapped. And in these cases, therefore, we find that not only the victim, but also the parents do not know that their child is being trafficked online. It is one of those types of human trafficking that is very difficult to ascertain and also very difficult to trace. So, in order for us to see a decrease in this crime, we need to focus on prevention. Right. Now, before we start having a look at prevention, I'm just going to quickly, briefly explain how perpetrators trap minors online. Now, how do they go about this? Is they create fake aliases. Now, fake aliases, even adults can be tricked by fake aliases. I have seen it on my social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram, where I have received various invites from people where their profile pictures are quite deceiving. So perpetrators are very smart in the fact when they create these fake aliases. So it's something that someone that the minor would relate to or be interested in. Once the minor accepts the invitation and starts communicating with the perpetrator, then the perpetrator will begin grooming the minor. So they do not immediately start with an aggressive approach. First, they are subtle, they form a relationship with the minor becomes comfortable with them, the minor becomes close to them, they become friendly with each other. Once the perpetrator has identified that the minor is now, in fact, enticed by them, they are now trapped. The perpetrator will start using psychological methods and coercion and force to force the minor to produce child sexual abuse material. Now, at this point, the minor has become fearful. The minor is also ashamed. The minor does not know how to handle the situation, where to get help, what to do, and the minor is now trapped. Once the minor is trapped and starts providing the child sexual abuse material, then there is no way out for the minor. Eventually, it has happened in many cases where the minors have in fact committed suicide because it becomes too much for them psychologically. They do not know how to deal with it, they do not know how to get help, they do not know of anybody who will leave them. Now, besides the perpetrators inviting children or minors on social media platforms, another big problem is pornography because sites like Pornhub do not require any personal information when you upload content. So it is very difficult to tell if whether those children have been coerced and forced into those acts because of this. Now, many law agencies and activists have come together and they're trying to put an end to Pornhub. But at the moment, that is not taking place. Now, in order for us to protect our children and to protect our future generation, we need to educate. Like I said, online trafficking can be taking place in your home. Your child is not aware that they are being trafficked. You are not aware that your child is being trafficked. There are already tools out there that can be used. Just yesterday, I sat in on the In-Hope Summit where they were discussing the tools that are currently used on our social media platforms like Amazon, Google, Microsoft. So these online platforms are already taking action in which to prevent child sexual abuse material. They have tools on their platforms in which a child can report child sexual abuse. And it is proven that it is in fact successful because research has shown that 72% of children who are aware of the child safety tools, when they have been exposed to child sexual abuse material, they immediately report it on those platforms. If they do not immediately report it on the platform, they immediately report the incident to a parent or a caregiver. And only 26% of children who have not been taught and are not aware of the child safety tools do not report the child sexual abuse material. So, in the 44 countries that are currently making use of these that are currently collaborated and are making use of these mechanisms, they have seen progress. There is still gaps and there is still room for improvement, but they are seeing progress. So countries like South Africa and other countries on the African continent need to join in and collaborate and use these child safety mechanisms so that we can also see a decrease. But before we can even get there, we need to start educating and making parents and children aware of online sex trafficking, that it is a reality, that it does exist. Then the methods that they can use to protect themselves that are available. Because currently, most people that you speak to, they are not aware of online child sex trafficking. They don't even know what it is. Now, if parents and adults are unaware, how can children be aware? How can children protect themselves? So we need to make a plan and start from the basics, educating parents and caregivers, moving on to educating children. We need to educate about technology, how to use technology safely. What is child sexual abuse material? How to identify that you are a victim of online sex trafficking. What are the child safety tools that I can use to protect myself? The parental controls that I can use to protect my child and monitor their social media platforms. All these tools are already out there. It just needs to be brought to the attention of the parents and the children. And in this way, and in that way only, can we see a decrease? Can we protect our children? At Hope to Heal Foundation this year, we were also invited and asked to join the African Union Task Force. As a member of the African Union Task Force, we are members of the Brave movement. Our roles is to identify gaps within our country and then to come together with a plan which we take to the African Union in hoping to get a seat so that when we have a seat at the African Union, we can be a part of the meetings and most importantly, have a say in what is happening to our children. What are the problems that we are facing on the African continent? What governments need to do to address these problems so that we can protect our children, so that we can protect our future generations to come. And While sitting on this force and doing our research, that is how we have found and come up with the fact that not only with online sex trafficking, but also human trafficking as a whole, the statistics are not reported correctly in our country. Very few cases are in fact reported, which does not show the accurate statistics. If we do not have the accurate statistics, we cannot have an accurate plan of action. The more we spend time going out to schools, to corporates, to churches, speaking to them and educating them about online sex trafficking, about child sexual abuse, the more it is going to be out there. The more we are going to find and also encourage those who have fallen victim to these crimes to come forward and to speak up so that in return we can prevent others from falling victim to these crimes. With the Brave movement, the whole point is that when we're going out to educate, that those who are feeling, that those who are trapped know where and how to get help. And people start speaking up about their experiences. We live in time and we live in a society where people are ashamed to speak of these crimes when they happen to them. When a child is sexually abused, and in most cases when they tell their parent or caregiver, they are asked to remain quiet because of stigma. So very few of them are actually reported. So we are aiming to encourage those who have fallen victim and to encourage parents that if your child has fallen victim, that it is okay to report it. Because most importantly, it's that child and that child that needs help. We are hoping that we're in the next year to achieve success, to have successful programs being implemented across South Africa, educating our nation, making it safer for our children, whether it is that they are going online, whether they are going outside, they are safe. That when they find themselves in trouble, they know where to go to for help. They know what to look out for, to know that if they are in fact being trafficked. I hope that this presentation has been helpful and most of all that it's going to encourage all of us to come together to be proactive so that we can fight and combat and put an end to child sexual abuse. I thank you all for your time today, and I hope to continue to collaborate with each and every single one of you, and I look forward to meeting you again next year, and I know that we are going to have positive results. Thank you.